we've talked about what you're eating and the fact you need to know that you're eating in a calorie deficit, which is why we're going to have to bring up the subject of tracking accurately. And this is like a standalone point in itself, because some people really hate the concept of calorie counting, tracking their food, logging your food, whatever you want to call it. But the point is, if you don't know what your energy intake is, how are you going to be in control of that energy balance?
And again, just I think sometimes taking things back to like money makes things like really like logical in people's minds. If you just got paid your salary every month and $20 went missing, $40 went missing, $60 went, and you're like, you're not gonna look at that and be like, who's taking my money? Why does it just keep going? You're gonna be like, what the hell? Like you're gonna look at that and be like, you will be emotional about it. Like, why am I just randomly losing all this like money that I've worked really hard to get? And for a lot of people, that's happening with like their calories. There's a unawareness of how you're spending your calories. I mean, that causes a frustration that you don't have as much money as you want or as many calories as you do, because you're unaware of you spending them. So tracking food and learning to track food and track food accurately is just a skill. And the faster you can just like kind of remove the emotion and just learn the skill, the easier this all gets, because it's somewhere between like 50 and 100% that people are out. So like you're eating 1,500 calories, you're eating 22 to 3,000.
Yeah.
And people are like, there's no way I'm eating that much. And it's like the amount of times we've gone under the microscope with people and like looked at this and like, holy shit, I'm eating 800 more calories a day than I thought.
And let's just give some examples of how easy it is to do though, because if you're not weighing your food, that's a huge one. So if you say, right, let's start with breakfast. I'm going to have this breakfast cereal. Cool. It says it's 120 calories per serving. You pour out your bowl, you pour out your milk, you have your breakfast and you track it. Did you weigh that? Probably not. If you didn't, what you consider a serving might be double or even triple
or more
what the box says as a serving. And if we're talking about something like, I don't know, Weetabix, it's probably not going to make that much difference. If we're talking about something like granola, it can be hundreds of calories. Yeah. That's just breakfast.
Well, I've shared this before about Steph. So when Steph first became one of my clients, she didn't realize she was eating 1,100 calories of granola. 1,100 calories every day. Yeah, and it was like a ridiculous amount of sugar as well. I was like, how have you still got not one filling? But like that's what, so literally just one swap in breakfast, and she was like, just felt just as full, just as satiated, but we had like a 400 calorie breakfast instead of 1,100. Like that singular thing that she was just doing unconsciously, 700-800 calories. Yeah. And again, how did we find that out? She weighed the food, she weighed the portion of granola, she weighed the milk, and then managed to see like this. Like I remember looking at it on her phone, like, it's just a joke. You know what I mean?
But she had to actually track that accurately in the first place to be aware. And I think sometimes it's a bit of a mental resistance of like, I shouldn't have to weigh my food. This is obsessive. It's actually educational. It's not obsessive. If you've never done it before, how do you even know? How do you even know if you're eating the right amount? And I think what really helped me, like I'd already kind of resolved my relationship with food a while ago, but what helps make sense of it for clients was when I had my son, I was like, if you're making formula for a baby, you measure it out, 'cause like they need this amount. Like you're not weird about it. And when you make food for your baby, like you start them weaning or whatever, you look up everything. You're like, right, they need to have like this much protein, or they're like, well, I do because I'm a geek about it. Yeah. But you know, there's like all this information, and all of these healthcare providers are saying like, you must keep a track on like what they're eating and how much of this they're having. But when we do it to ourselves, it's obsessive.
Yeah.
And like your mum might have done that for you, but you never have probably sat down and done it for yourself. So if you consider like doing it for your child as taking care of them because you want to make sure that they're being well nourished, it's the same for you.
Ever wondered why losing weight seems so hard after you hit 30? You're not alone. At BodySmart, we specialise in helping women like you over the age of 30 to lose 30 to 60 pounds in less than 6 months, guaranteed. And that's without restrictive diets or endless hours in the gym. Our approach works because it's delivered through customised, direct, one-on-one coaching. Your coach will tailor a fully personalised plan that fits into your life, focusing on sustainable habits, not temporary fixes. On average, our clients lose 5 to 10 pounds a month, and that's not an outlier. That's what you can expect to achieve month in, month out. And yes, these results are guaranteed. Ready to see for yourself? Visit BodySmartFitness.com to apply. Remember, we're here exclusively for women over 30 who are serious about taking charge of their health. Apply at BodySmartFitness.com.
Yeah. And I think sometimes other people look at this and go, well, I've got a friend who's never tracked calories and always been in shape. And it's like, okay, but like, how is that serving you? They might have been brought up with like a really good awareness around food, always told like when you finish, like, as soon as you full stop eating, given like the right amount of portions, actually already developed all these like self-awareness and eating mindfully and just very conscious and have very active lifestyles. And yeah, they haven't got the same struggles that you have. So looking at them and saying, oh, well, that person has it so much easier, doesn't serve you when it comes to like the fact that you need to develop the skill of tracking food and having at its core, it's education and an awareness of food.
Yeah, and if you actually change what you call it, don't call it like tracking my food, just call it like recording my food.
Yeah.
Or like choose a word that isn't triggering to you, because there's so much power in words. And if you've got like this negative connotation with it, find something that means like learning about what I'm putting in my body, because that's what it's down to.
We need to make a mental note. We're going to sex this up a little bit. You know what I mean? That's sex sells, doesn't it? And the importance of tracking accurately, I guess, just that doesn't have that same. This mental note, we're fixing this. We're getting a punchier line. What Stacey said. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you can turn it on its head and like use it as a way to learn about everything that's going in your body, that helps you then think as well. Right, I need to know what's in my drinks. I need to know what's in my gummies. I need to know everything that goes in my mouth. And one of my favorite things to remind clients is it goes in your phone before it goes in your mouth.
Yes.
Because it is so easy to forget. Like even myself, I've been tracking my food recently, just like keep an eye on my protein levels. And the amount of times I've been like 2 hours later, oh yeah, I ate that like whole snack that I completely forgot to track.
Yeah.
And I'm quite aware of my food.
Yeah.
So if you don't put it in your phone before you put it in your mouth, it is like remarkable how much you could eat without realizing.
Yeah, especially for how like distracted we all are now. Like a lot of us work behind computers and are on our phones and are watching TV, and it's so easy when you're in that like mindless sort of place to not even realize like you put your hand in the pocket like 5 times or 10 times. So again, you're tracking before you eat is and tracking even like the day before.
And if you've got kids and you pick bits off their plates.
Oh, so so easily done. Yeah.
If you're not going to go back and be like, well, I had 1/2 of a chicken nugget and 3 fries. Like, you're just not. So put it in before you have it, or even better, don't have it unless you're intending to have it.
Yeah, and we've had we made this video once and we put food in the bin after like it was like 10% of the meal left and we put it in the bin. Again, if you're full, you finished, you can put it away. You can, obviously people can save it as well if they've tracked it, but there's more people in the world are now dying from overeating than undereating. So, people are like, oh, that's such a waste. And that's, but like people can think that with like kids' foods or certain things. And it's like, is it a waste? You know what I mean? If it's stopping you from hitting your goals and you throw away a bit of your kids' food or you throw away a little bit of your food, is it a waste or is it actually helping you hit your goals because you're managing your calories better?